right, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the St. Louis podcast. This is episode 100, so thank you for tuning in. We had something special planned for this episode, except I've had the flu all week, and we are now recording this on Friday, the last day to, of course, get this recorded before going out. It should actually be going out right now, but we needed to get an episode out, right? I couldn't leave you guys hanging for another week. Last week, we had some things going on, so we weren't able to record. And, of course, this week I had the flu, so if I sound like shit, if I cough, apologies. It's been kicking my ass this week. And if you know of any good remedies, please leave it in the comments. Of course, I've been taking the classic Mucinex, extra strength for chest congestion. I know Dayquil and NyQuil are just like, you're just taking Tylenol, whatever. It seems to help a little bit. Is emergency even good for you? I actually watched a video a couple weeks ago, and I never thought I'd actually talk about it, but they were saying that emergency, just because you're dumping a bunch of vitamins into essentially your digestive system, right, to digest and hopefully get absorbed by the blood, and then, of course, taking those vitamins and nutrients, apparently it doesn't really do much at all. If anything, it might actually be a negative effect. And of course, I've been smashing emergency every single day this week since Monday. Today is Friday. I haven't had it today, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday I've had an emergency. And you'd think I'd be good by Friday. Well, let me tell you, I woke up today and was getting my ass kicked. And last week and this week, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on in the United States, in politics, that I wanted to talk about. I don't want to talk about that this week. I really don't. Because I'm sick of it, to be honest. I'm plain sick of, you go on Facebook, it's either, you know, someone on the left bitching about Trump and his cabinet run by oligarchs and whatever. He's just trying to, you know, be an authoritarian figure. And then you got the right saying, you know, he's trying to fix the deficit, right? He's exposing corruption. And then the left will say, I don't see any of the receipts. It's like you go on Open Secrets and see, especially the USAID, you could specifically go onto that website and see where that money was sent. So I'm tired of the left saying, I haven't seen any receipts. You're just purposefully not looking at the receipts. But then also, you know, on the right, we got, okay, we want to figure out the deficit, but then we have Republicans in Congress wanting to raise the debt ceiling by $4 trillion. But no one's solving the problem. No one's solving the problem. So I don't know where this is going to leave us. I'm on the Fed subreddit on Reddit. And the amount of people that are getting fired right now or were on a probationary period with the government and them not offering, of course, a position is insane. But I've said on this podcast multiple times that we have way too many administrators. And this is not only in the government, but it's on all facets of business, of education, not only public education, but colleges, right? And I think I've said this stat before on the podcast as well, which is, you know, how much the cost has increased for college in correlation with essentially inflation. It doesn't match up to what the cost was 30 years ago or 40 years ago, when you used to essentially be able to work a part-time job and pay off your college schooling, which, of course, now we know is almost impossible with how expensive college is nowadays. And I've ranted on this podcast about colleges before and how a lot of people are wasting time and money going. But, of course, for some people, you need to go to college because whatever field you're going into, you need that certification, you need that degree, you need that training, you need the education. But you look at the costs don't correlate, right? Maybe correlate's not the right word. If I use just some wrong words, just chalk it up to the amount of Dayquil, ibuprofen, everything else I'm on here today. But administration costs are through the roof. So then now they're looking at the U.S. Department of Education, sending it back to the states. I don't understand it. Someone knows it. Please feel free and become a guest. Come on to the podcast and let's chat about it. I mean, our education system is, we're ranked at the bottom for first world countries. So something needs to be done. I don't know if just dismantling the U.S. Department of Education makes a lot of sense. They're going after the CFPB, which the CFPB, what I saw was interesting, is that the amount of money that the budget for the CFPB, they actually, so if you double that, that is the amount of money that they save taxpayers or consumers on a yearly basis. So I'd say the CFPB makes sense, Consumer Finance Protection Bureau. Now, if you're not familiar, when that was established, I believe, wasn't it established after the Great Financial Crisis? It was established by the Frank-Dodd Act, I believe. Dodd-Frank, excuse me. Now, if we don't remember 08, 09, the Great Depression, recession, housing market crisis, etc., either you're too young or, yeah, you're probably just too young. I don't know how else you wouldn't remember it because it was not a great time for a majority of Americans. And so they're going after the CFPB. So their annual budget is $596 million. That's from 2021. This is from Wikipedia. With that said, okay, USAID seems like an absolute cover for, call me a conspiracy theorist, the CIA, and us, forcing and trying to get our policies across to countries that we want to, of course, have power over, right? Or establish leaders that, of course, agree with the United States. And of course, 5 minutes ago, I just said I wasn't going to talk about any of this. So I don't know. I think at this point, with what's going on in politics right now, I think it makes more sense to give it a little bit more time instead of everyone just freaking out, and see how this plays out. I don't know how it's going to play out. I don't know if it's going to be good. I don't know if it's going to be bad. I was going into this thinking, hopefully, this was going to be good. And then, now this could, of course, be fake news. But meanwhile, while they're doing all of this, I believe SpaceX got a massive, $40 million defense contract. So we got a $40 million defense contract. SpaceX, $23 million to use Starlink to support military operation. It's like, are we trying to cut spending or not? SpaceX defense contracts grew under Biden, doubling from $856 million to $1.8 billion. I thought SpaceX was profitable on its own. I guess not. Because aren't they sending up satellites for like any company that needs satellites? I thought that's what they were doing. So I'm a little bit confused. I love space. Some of my favorite movies are like Interstellar, which if you don't like Interstellar and Christopher Nolan, I don't know what to tell you. I understand spending money on space, but I mean, $1.6 billion. If we're going to cut funding, let's also cut some of this bullshit too. I also saw he got something for Tesla. The military is going to order a bunch of Cybertrucks. Like, how fucking stupid is that? What do you have, chargers everywhere? I don't understand that. I've never been a big Tesla fan anyway, so whatever. I don't want a battery-powered car that goes 150 miles. Sorry. I'd rather get a gas-powered car that I can, fill up in 3 minutes and drive hundreds of miles and not have to worry about charging it. So if we're going to cut spending, let's actually cut spending. Why are we raising the debt ceiling if we're trying to cut spending? We're in a massive deficit. I think I said this months ago before the election even happened that a majority, I feel like, of people's issues right now are with the economy. And I don't know. Doesn't seem like we're going in the right direction. Doesn't seem like we've been going in the right direction for a while. I think the last president that was actually trying to get us our debt paid was Bill Clinton. Little saxophone guy. Little under the desk guy. You know what I'm talking about. Monica. So this might just be an episode of me just talking about what grinds my gears. You know what else grinds my gears right now? People talking about eggs. Oh my God. One more person talks about egg prices. I'm just going to egg their house just to prove a point. Remember when we used to egg people's houses? Not me. Of course, I just TP'd people's houses. Maybe forked it a couple times, plastic forks. We used to egg people's houses, and now you literally go online right now. People are lined up at Costco just to get eggs. What are we doing? Is your time that valuable, but that you want to, is your time really not that valuable that you're going to stand in line for hours just to get 36 eggs? What are we doing? It's like the TP crisis all over again. It affects me because I eat eggs all the time, but I don't care. I'm going to buy it. $8, $4. You know, how I look at it at the end of the day, you're buying 18 eggs for, let's just look up egg prices. Dierberg's egg prices. Let's look it up. Shop. Can I not even look at their prices on their website? For real? What a joke. Really? Of course I can't find it on here. All right, let's go to Walmart. Walmart eggs near me. Look at that. $9 for 18, $5 for 12. What, 50 cents an egg? Considering how expensive other food is right now, I think there's bigger eggs to fry, if you will. Than worrying about eggs. Now, of course, everyone's like, well, Trump said day one. Like, can we just all give it a break? Everyone needs to go outside and just, get off social media for a day. I think we need a day without social media, literally. Every single platform shuts down. Let's have a social media day where it's an anti-social media day. We'll just have to plan it around when this podcast comes out, of course. We need the views. But in all seriousness, everyone on social media is talking about left, right. It's like it's just annoying. Get a life. Does anyone have anything else to talk about? So here's kind of what I wanted to get into today is customer service. I've just been having an issue, and people have been telling me story after story of having bad customer service. And I really think this started during COVID, of course. But Jim Edmonds, actually, he went on the morning after. This might have been last week. Morning after show here in St. Louis. Shout out morning after. 101 ESPN. And he was talking about, essentially since COVID, that everything has changed in management, in the clubhouse, from past players hanging out like Ozzie Smith, Jim Edmonds, Chris Carpenter, things like that. The organization, just plain and simple, does not, it seems like, according to Jim, that they do not want those people around anymore. They don't coordinate with them. And he would say, before COVID, essentially, that, they'd reach out, they'd go over all of the events that he'd be going to, like this year for the Cardinals, like make sure he understands everything. And now it's just, here's an email of the events. Do you want to go? Sign up. It's like, dude, Jimmy's the man. How many gold gloves did Jim Edmonds have? Jim Edmonds gold glove. Only 8. 8 gold gloves in 9 seasons. Jesus. Absolute badass. Yeah. We definitely don't want him around our team at all, considering how shit the Cardinals are. But it seems like the Cardinals issue comes from ownership and general management, which I think anyone that's been paying attention to Cardinals ball totally understands that. It seems like they don't care about their franchise base anymore. So that's kind of customer service. I'd highly, if you're a Cardinal fan, go watch this video. The morning after, just type in the morning after Jim Edmonds. It'll pop up, bunch of news stories on it. But go to the actual YouTube video. It's on YouTube. You can listen to it. It's kind of heartbreaking, to be honest. Man, it's odd. I mean, he's in the Hall of Fame. They're like, it doesn't even sound like he's going to come back to broadcasting this year. They didn't even want him back. Sounds like he's out. He's out of participating with the Cardinals, which sucks for the current Cardinals because Jim Edmonds is a beast and he gives great advice.
Hey there, St. Louis podcast listeners. We've got some exciting news from our friends over at Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, led by the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Lee of Farmers Insurance.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking for a job or to own your own business under a brand that everyone and their cousin is familiar with, Mark Lee with Farmers Insurance of St. Louis is recruiting insurance agency owners here in St. Louis for their Farmers Insurance Mentorship Program.
And as many of you are aware, Garrett and I have owned quite a few successful and award-winning businesses over the years, and in a past life, one of those was a Farmers Insurance agency out of Chesterfield, Missouri.
Eric and I know firsthand how hard it is to start a business under a brand that no one has heard of and convince consumers and businesses to trust that you're an authority figure in your industry.
And as many of you know, we own an award-winning marketing firm, Vi Media, the one that Garrett was just discussing. And building that company's reputation literally took years. We're still building it to this day, and it's been 8 years in the making. However, with the Trusted Farmers Insurance Agency name on the building, we got started when we started our Farmers Insurance Agency. The trust was already built and has been for 96 years.
And if you can't do math, that means Farmers Insurance has been around since 1928. Luckily, you don't need to be a human calculator to get rich as an owner of your very own Farmers Insurance Agency.
Nope. All you have to do is reach out to the one and only Mark Lee, the leader of Farmers Insurance in the greater St. Louis metropolitan area.
That's right. So ensure he continues to sponsor our show and your favorite podcast, the St. Louis Podcast, by quitting your job today and calling Mark Lee. I wouldn't even wait for him to answer your call. Call your boss now, quit, and become your very own business owner.
Mm-hmm. Visit insurancecareerstl.com. That is insurancecareerstl.com. Should we spell it out?
Yes. It would
INSURANCE. Career, CAREER, STL.com, insurancecareerstl.com. Go there now. Back to the podcast.
And wait, insurancecareerstl.com.
Back to the podcast.
But apparently it doesn't matter. Apparently it doesn't matter that St. Louis Cardinals 2023 season's record. Apparently it doesn't matter that we were 71-9. Were we really? I didn't even realize we were that bad last year. My Lord. 21 games behind the leader last year. They also say the game, Jim's also was talking about how the game's changed. It's faster now, which I don't know if that's really a good or bad thing. Seems like it's a good thing for the average person watching, but maybe not for, the players themselves, organizations. And we're seeing backlash. We've been seeing weeks of backlash against the Kansas City Chiefs as well. And let me tell you, I'm sorry to everyone in St. Louis that supports Kansas City. I don't. I supported the Rams. The Rams left. That does not mean that now that a city that's 3.5 hours away from me, that I'm now just going to support. When they've been in another conference, they're in the AFC. They were in a totally different conference than the Rams. And now we're supposed to, people in St. Louis are weird when they're like, what, you don't support Kansas City? It's like, no, it's Kansas City. It's not St. Louis Chiefs, Kansas City Chiefs. People are like, well, who do you support? I'm like, I got a lot of teams I like. I was rooting for Buffalo, of course. Buffalo fan base is dope. Josh Allen's the man. And then we got, two of the players I like the least in the league. Patrick Mahomes, sorry. You're no longer even in GOAT territory after you just got demolished in that Super Bowl. Brady's the GOAT, sorry. And you got Mahomes flopping, pulling up before runs, trying to get penalties that he then had to apologize for a couple weeks ago. His family is beyond annoying. Just look up his brother. I think his wife's gotten a little bit better, but she was just a crazy person as well. And then you got Travis Kelce, who has essentially given up this year, I guess. Like in the Super Bowl, he just gave up. Go ahead and go to YouTube right now. Maybe we can link this as well. Travis Kelce just straight up gave up on a play. And then, of course, Patrick Mahomes rushes and gets demolished by the guy that Travis Kelce should have been blocking. But what we've all learned as well is that Travis Kelce is also not the GOAT. You know who is? Rob Gronkowski. Sorry. Seems like Kelce just didn't condition this year. I guess has just been partying with Taylor Swift, who I was reading stories also about how she was apparently booed at the game. And I've been listening to some people that went to the game. They were saying that she was booed just by Eagles fans because she was wearing KC Chiefs attire, which obviously makes sense. It's not like everyone was just straight up booing Taylor Swift. But I couldn't have asked. I literally could not have. I was rooting for the Eagles. I don't like the Chiefs. I don't root for the Chiefs. Sorry, everyone in St. Louis that likes the Chiefs. Don't hate me. I play fantasy football. That's who I root for. The players on my fantasy team. Buffalo. I like Denver. Broncos, of course, always been a team I've liked watching, except they haven't been good in quite a while. This year they did pretty damn good. I was rooting for Bo Nix. Washington's got a good team. Jaden Daniels. Miami's fun. Miami's a fun team. Dolphins. A lot of good teams. Not KC. Don't want them. Don't root for them. Won't root for them. Don't care. I'm going to send this clip to Evan Archambault, as you guys all know, who's been on this podcast with West County Insulation. Start freaking out if he sees that. I mean, he had a Super Bowl party. Apparently, he just lost his mind that KC was getting destroyed. So, excuse me. So, customer service. I don't even know. I'm just going off on tangents today. Who even knows where we're going? So, Clayton, who's also been on this podcast, he had his car in for hail damage. Now, Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, I don't know if it's you guys as a whole. I don't know if it's depending on broker, but I'll just put it this way. It entirely seems that your insurance agent or insurance broker, you should get a broker instead of just going to State Farm or whatever. But God forbid everyone just uses State Farms. Your rates are going up. I was just hearing AAA is making people sign power of attorney to AAA for their insurance policies as well. Go ahead and look that up. Real news. And so his car got hail damage. He hasn't fixed it since that hailstorm, last year or something. So drops it off, gets a rental car, has the rental car for a week, gets a call from Farm Bureau saying you need to turn the car in right now, the rental car. We can't find your car. So he has his car at a body shop that has like 10 locations in St. Louis or something like that. So the insurance agent, or I don't know if it was the insurance agent calling him or if it was the appraiser or whoever it was, they're like, we can't find the car. You got to give the car back right now. He's like, the car's at X, Y, and Z, in Fenton. And, she called up there. She's like, all right, great. Found the car. Gets a call the next day. Hey, right when that car is ready, even though Enterprise is not open on the weekends, you need to go get your car and then drop your rental car off. Now, maybe I'm out of bounds with thinking, why can't Enterprise? We'll pick you up. How about Enterprise goes and meets him at where his car is getting fixed? That way, he doesn't have to find a ride or find someone to drive him to have him drop off the rental car. I don't understand this. Then, of course, he had to drop it off on the weekend, even though Enterprise is not even open on the weekend. So it's Missouri Farm Bureau. I've been hearing nightmare stories about you. I'm sure people have great success with Missouri Farm Bureau as well. Same with State Farm. But more and more I hear insurance agents are lazy. They don't do their job, which I find 100% true a majority of the time. Once you have your policy with them, they don't give a shit, right? They don't care. They're getting paid that commission, even though they should care, because if you cancel, that commission that they got paid now gets taken back, right? So now they're down. So if you got paid, you sold a policy, you got paid $500, they cancel in 3 months. Well, that $500 you're not going to pay back. So they should care about support. But insurance, I don't know what it is with insurance. They get the policy and then you never hear from them again until it's time to renew. No updates on asking about your business. No updates on, have you had a change in your life, kids, new car, new house, etc., right? It's on you. And of course, in a situation where you have a car accident or you have something happen to your house, you have something get injured, and you have an agent that doesn't care, well, that causes a lot of problems for you, right? Because then now you're having to talk to a 1-800 number. You're having to talk to an appraiser that you've never met, instead of having an agent or a broker that's going to fight for you on your behalf. I send everyone either to two different people. Gary Thomas and Travis Johnson with Thomas Insurance Advisors in Chesterfield Valley, or Devin Warren with Kreisman Bear. Those are the two people I recommend wholeheartedly 100% of the time. Why? Because they don't do exactly what I just talked about. So I don't know what happened to customer service. I really don't. I think it's something that businesses need to come back and start doing a hell of a lot better this year. From dining to hospitality to, consumer products to B2B. It doesn't matter. Businesses need to do a better job of customer service, and they need to train their staff to do a better job of customer service as well. Because if you don't care about the customer, it's very apparent. It's very apparent. And maybe you could trick some people into thinking that you care, but you can't trick us all. So work on your damn customer service. There's too many businesses that get by on doing an okay or even a shitty job when they could be offering a far better experience, far better service, far better customer experience, and do a lot better. Not only for them, but for the customers as well. It's not that hard to understand. I'm not Nostradamus here, right? Not calling the future. So we'll see what plays out here in the next couple of weeks. Like I said, I did have some big stuff planned for episode 100. Came under the weather, got the flu. Still trying to beat this out of my system. So I'm going to go home after this and take it easy. I think I got one meeting today. Close some business, hopefully, and take it easy because I'm going on a bachelor party next week to the Dominican Republic with a lot of my boys from high school and college. So that'll be fun. I need to feel better by next Wednesday. It's Friday. You know how bachelor parties are going to go. There's going to be some drinking. So it's going to be unfortunate if I'm going to have to take it easy, but you know, maybe it's better for me in the long run that I do take it easy anyways. So hopefully some big stuff. I'm going to be announcing some big stuff here for the podcast over the next couple of weeks. We're going to have some awesome guests on the podcast as well. This year, you know, we've been doing this for, almost 2 years now, obviously, episode 100. And we've taken just a couple of weeks off here and there throughout the last year. So this is would be like a full year or full 2 years now. What am I talking about? 1 year, 2 years. My God, have we really been doing this for 2 years? It's a long time. So if you have anyone that you recommend to come on this podcast as you sit here and listen every single week, please message us or message myself on the podcast. Let us know if you have any good guests that you think would be awesome to come on here and have a good conversation. You know, I'm willing to have a conversation with, of course, anyone. I just like having good conversations, right? That's it. Learning more about a person, how they think, how they do things. And we'll see how this plays out. We're going to have some good sponsors this year. We're going to be doing some more advertising, not only for them, but for the podcast as well. So hopefully we can grow this thing. I think this year is the year to really grow the podcast and to take it to its next level. Because really I started this as, you know, I've said it before, as a passion project. I just did it because I like talking to people. I did, you know, Garrett and I started it. Garrett's like, you like talking, which if you know me, I do. You can talk to anyone. And I like doing it, right? But now is the year to grow it. Make some money, give back to the community, make some businesses some money by being sponsors, have some good guests, get them some opportunity, give them some, you know, somewhere to tell their voice, give small businesses opportunity here in St. Louis or of course abroad as well, you know, outside of St. Louis. You know, I think we've done a good job of giving back so far. So we need to grow. We need to grow this year. And I need to just stop having these episodes where I yap into the mic. Or maybe you guys like it. I don't know. Who knows? Sometimes the viewership shows that you guys like me just yapping up here. I know. I have a degree in yapology. I get it. I know. You know, I had a lot of news stories to talk about. TikTok algorithm exhibited pro-Republican bias during 2024. I was going to talk about the crash, but that was like 2 weeks ago now. I mean, Amazon, Trump tariffs. What else? Trump signs executive order, creates sovereign wealth fund. I'll talk about that next week. See. Majority of U.S. teens have lost trust in big tech. Makes sense. AI company asked job applicants not to use AI in job applications. Oh, that was a funny one. All right. I'm done sniffling and coughing into this mic for today. We'll be back next week with another episode. We have a couple good guests lined up. I know this week's a little bit shorter. I know we didn't have an episode last week, so go back. We have a ton of good episodes on this podcast. Watch those. As always, please like, review, comment, subscribe. We really do appreciate everyone's support. And like I said before, if you are listening or you know of someone that you think would be good on this podcast, let us know. We're always looking for good people to come on here and have a good conversation with. All right, that's all we had. Talk to you next week. Goodbye.
Hey there, St. Louis podcast listeners. We've got some exciting news from our friends over at Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, led by the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Lee of Farmers Insurance. If you're looking for a job or to own your own business under a brand that everyone and their cousin is familiar with, Mark Lee with Farmers Insurance of St. Louis is recruiting insurance agency owners here in St. Louis for their Farmers Insurance Mentorship Program.
And as many of you are aware, Garrett and I have owned quite a few successful and award-winning businesses over the years. And in a past life, one of those was a farmers insurance agency out of Chesterfield, Missouri.
Eric and I know firsthand how hard it is to start a business under a brand that no one has heard of and convince consumers and businesses to trust that you're an authority figure in your industry.
And as many of you know, we own an award-winning marketing firm, Vi Media, the one that Garrett was just discussing. And building that company's reputation literally took years. We're still building it to this day, and it's been 8 years in the making. However, with the Trusted Farmers Insurance Agency name on the building, we got started when we started our Farmers Insurance Agency. The trust was already built and has been for 96 years.
And if you can't do math, that means Farmers Insurance has been around since 1928. Luckily, you don't need to be a human calculator to get rich as an owner of your very own Farmers Insurance Agency.
Nope. All you have to do is reach out to the one and only Mark Lee, the leader of Farmers Insurance in the greater St. Louis metropolitan area.
That's right. So ensure he continues to sponsor our show and your favorite podcast, the St. Louis podcast, by quitting your job today and calling Mark Lee. I wouldn't even wait for him to answer your call. Call your boss now, quit, and become your very own business owner.
Visit insurancecareerstl.com. That is insurancecareerstl.com. Should we spell it out?
Yes. It would
INSURANCE, career, CAREER, STL.com, insurancecareerstl.com. Go there now.